Hello, everybody. When our Parsha informs us of Paro's instructions that firstborn males were to be killed from the Jewish people, the Torah records Vayomer Melech Mitzrayim lamiyaldot ha'ivriot asher shem ha'achat shifra v'shem ha'shenit pua. Paro spoke to the nursing women who were Ivriot, Jewish, one whose name was Shifra and the other whose name was Pua, and we have the instructions rendered. I hesitated how to interpret Lamiyaldota Ivriot. The prevalent view is expressed by Rashi in that he says Shifra is none other than Yocheved, Moshe Rabbeinu's mother, and Pua is none other than Moshe's sister, Miriam. This is not such a simple interpretation, although the pshat of the words Mialdot Ivriot suggests that they were, in fact, Jewish. But it's difficult, number one, if they were Jewish, did Paro really expect that they would kill from amongst their own people any born males? And two, at the end, the Torah, as if this is a big achievement worthy of tremendous praise, Vatirenam yaldot et Elokim v'lo asu, as Paro said. They feared God. What else would we expect of someone of the stature of Yocheved and Miriam? Of course, they would not heed Paro's instruction and murder baby boys born to the Jewish people. They would obviously fear HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, the Gemara offers in Masechet Sota the view expressed by Rashi, but the Gemara records Ravu Shmuel Chad Amar Isha Ubita v'Chad Amar Kala v'Chamota. One opinion had it that the two birthing nurses were a mother and her daughter, which the Gemara identifies as Yocheved and Miriam. But the second opinion is it was a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, Yocheved and Elisheva. This, of course, doesn't answer the two questions that we already raised. I would point out that whether we are talking about Miriam or we are talking about Elisheva, both of them were at a very tender young age. How is it possible that they were already nursemaids helping in the birthing process? So Chazal in Masechet Sota tell us that Pua was called such because she was Po'ah, which seems to be some form of a verbal expression. Either she would say the right thing to calm the birthing mothers, or she would soothe and coo to the newborn in order for them to be relaxed. Or another opinion the Gemara states is that, especially if we hold Pua to be Miriam, that through Ruach HaKodesh, she was able to proclaim that her mother Yocheved was destined to give birth to the Moshiach Shel Yisrael, the one who would be God's instrument to redeem the Jewish people. I would also point out that the word Mialdot in this parsha is written in the defective form. Instead of it being Mem Yud Lamed Dalid Vav Taf, Mialdot, there is no Vav, as if you could read that the word is Miyaledet. Yocheved was the actual nurse, and the Pua person, let's call her Miriam for argument's sake, was simply there as some kind of an assistant. It should also be noted that with the multitudes of Jewish people, it is unlikely that these were the only two people helping in the birthing process. They may have been in charge, or they're the ones about whom the story is related in particular. But whatever the case may be, we do still have a problem regarding the tender young age of Miriam, or for that matter, Elisheva, which leads us to a third approach, and that is brought by the Abarbanel, that we're not talking about Jewish women, not mialdot who were ivriot, but mialdot et ha'ivriot. These were Egyptian women who assisted the Jewish women in giving birth. The Abarbanel doesn't originate this. We have in Medrash Tadshe, which is ascribed to Pinchas ben Yair, he enumerates Yesh Nashim Chasidot Giorot Ksherot Min Hagoyim. There are righteous converts, kosher women who came from the Gentiles who converted to Judaism. Ve'elu hein, and pay close attention to the list that is brought in the Medrash. Osnat, Yosef's wife, Tzipora, Moshe's wife, Shifra, Pua. In fact, there are those who maintain that Shifra is actually an Egyptian name. Bat Paro, Rachav, Ruth, and Yael. So we have a variety of possibilities. It seems to me, if I could find a common thread between the various possibilities of it being a tandem of Yocheved and Miriam, or Yocheved and Elisheva, or Shifra and Pua, Egyptian converts, righteous converts to the Jewish people, that the assistance and the loyalty to HaKadosh Baruch Hu came from perhaps unlikely sources. The ability of young girls such as Miriam and Elisheva to stand up to the pressure from the royal Egyptian court, and certainly the bravery spiritually of the women who converted to join the Jewish people, Shifra and Pua, according to our third understanding of their identity, suggests that sometimes when we think a situation is hopeless, we never know where the Yeshua, where the salvation, where success will come from. We also learn from here a lesson that you can't paint with the broadest of brushes an entire people as being all the same. If Egypt was the bedrock of immorality and idolatry, there were to be found amongst them, according to the third approach, women who were righteous, women who were spiritual, women who were God-fearing. And so no matter how bleak a situation might be, Yeshuat Hashem keherafayim, God can work in mysterious, miraculous ways and bring about salvation and a brighter future when it is from the least expected source of all. Shabbat Shalom.